Well, good morning. It's day 2 without power, and morning after the storm. And things look a little different back there. Our neighbor's pigs seem to have made it okay. I don't know if we can see over. They had a little bit of stuff to dodge last night. Looks like they're all okay. Hopefully that one's just napping. Our new shot made it out fine, thank goodness. We didn't really have much big leaning over it, but there's plenty of trees that could have hit it. As you can tell, it's looking pretty different back here. And that used to be, well, that was pretty thick. And now we can see 400 yards or so clear back, where there's, for the most part, not much for trees. Our tiny house made it just fine. I'm very thankful that a couple years ago when we started building, or before we started building, that I took the time and I just did a real honest risk assessment on each and every tree that was in striking distance of the house. And as much as I didn't want to lose the trees, I know my wife probably, she felt the same way, but you know, we both knew that we had to take out anything that was going to be a risk, and as such we were in good shape. So we're going to get in there and build ourselves a little fire and get the yodel going and get some warm water going and make some tea and coffee and make some breakfast. And it's not bad. We're used to camping and sort of living without some necessities, so we're doing, I think, better than some of our neighbors. Well, we got our fire going, and got our red whistler up on top there that our good friend gave us. And I must say, it's quite cozy in here. So while that warms up, let's go take a look outside and see what else is down and what survived. People often brag about just how clean burning these yodels are. At least these the F602 that we have. This model is particularly efficient, and it's probably hard to see just because of the darn light, but it's 2 minutes into startup, and there's not really any smoke at all. It's already heat waves. That's a better view. Sorry for putting you in the light there. So like I said, it's about 2 minutes into startup, and it's already clear. A little bit of smoke you can see there, but very minimal. And once we put our hardwood in, you know, we have some oak and alder and birch, and any of those, it burns completely clear. As you may recall from previous videos, there's actually about 3 times more gray firewood tarp underneath there somewhere. And yeah, it's probably got a few holes in it now. And our cottonwoods, all of them that were there in the corner, are gone. Maybe we'll take a wander over, go see what we got there. We lost one of our shade trees that was perfectly healthy. I guess it just couldn't stand up to the winds. We didn't expect to lose that one. It actually was leaning into the wind. And that's one of the reasons why it was allowed to stay. But I guess it didn't make it. Bit of a bummer on that one. Here's a root ball of 2, I think, of the 6 cottonwoods that were here. And it's kind of hard to gauge the actual height, but I'll see if I can insert a picture of my father-in-law standing down here. He came out and Took a look-see with this one during a lull in the storm yesterday, and I think this thing's roughly 20 feet in height, to give a bit of an idea. Maybe a little less, but... There's our compost bins, and 3 made it, surprisingly. When we saw this cottonwood down, we thought we pretty much lost them all. Luckily, number 1, which may not have made it, is one of the empty ones. But I did find it. I kind of went pawing through there, and it's if you were to look back behind number 2, you can't see it, unfortunately, but there's another set of cottonwoods. That there is a root ball in itself, and when that went over, I think it kicked it forward, the barrel forward enough that we may have just saved it. And then these were the final 2 left of the group. And you know, yesterday in the storm we had a little bit of a lull, like I said, and I was looking at those 2 that were exposed there, and one was leaning pretty well perpendicular towards the property, and I was just nervous at that point. I figured, you know what, these other 4 or 5, they had already gone, and I'm just going to drop them. So I did. I got them out of there, and was able to... This one here on the... well, I don't remember which one it was. I think the one on the right, it was leaning towards us, but I was able to kick it out far enough that it went the other way. And now I don't have to worry about it, period. They're done. They're gone. There's our maple. Or... I don't know. It's almost like a swamp maple, but... maybe it's a Manitoba maple. But it's stripped completely bare. You can see all the birch back there. There's probably 40 or so of those down alone. And then here's a guy. This guy was in tension the other day. I had to cut him out first before I could even safely get in there to cut the rest of those cottonwoods out. And you could see there was the break. Once I got enough cut, it just snapped right there, and all was well. But it was a little hairy there because it's about 7 feet off the ground or so cutting that one. So typically if you're cutting tension wood, you want to do it when it's a little lower. But just because of the way it's wedged in a little further back in the bush, that was sort of the best place to do it, because I could actually get behind that little pecker pole that's there and have a bit of protection. We kind of have to be careful right now because the cell phones are down too, so we don't really have any means of emergency communication right now, so just staying safe. And then back here, well, as you remember, we never had a view like that, so jokingly, I guess we're all set up for solar electric. But being our southern exposure, we'll have sunny winters and a little more sun in the summer. But I'm standing on one of the cottonwood logs, so I'm sorry. I know it's hard to get a perspective, but there's that root ball we were looking at before, and in there, underneath all the junk, there's another 1 or 2, and right in front of us, there's one that's broken off. And well, that's pretty well just flat. That's just plain flat. And that used to be completely the thick of it. But what do you think, Missy?
A lot of trees down, making for a lot of cleanup.
We're gonna be here for a while, aren't we?
Yep.
I think we can take our pick as to what firewood we want to keep and what we want to just toss.
Pretty much.
I think half of this will stay on the ground. They say it's good for the environment, you know. Gives the mice a place to live.
Need a chipper.
Yeah, that'd be nice. If anyone out there wants to give us a present, we could use a wood chipper right now. don't know, maybe someone out there can tell me if this is why they call them black cottonwoods, but at least the insides of these two you can see are turning black already. It looks like they're kind of rotten, but when I worked for that forestry company, we never really paid much attention to the cottonwoods. They'd come down when they're in our way, but that was about it. But that one there, you can see actually there's some black decay in it already, so I feel even better about that thing coming out. You can see I made a corrective cut. Maybe you can see the lights on it a bit, but I made a corrective cut partway through, and I didn't like it at first, the angle of it at first, so change that up. Our garden, on the other hand, made it just fine. I don't think we hit a single branch or so. Came down, it's good. We checked our pumpkins, checked our squash, checked our cucumbers. Everything's good, and the potatoes, well, they're safe enough underground. I don't know if you could hurt them if you tried. Lush as can be. It seems to be all the better for the wind and the rain. It's going to get more sun, and definitely it's getting more water. There's one of our pumpkins hiding in there. Really hard to see right now because ours are really nice and still dark green. I know a lot of the others in the area, we've had that drought for so many weeks that everyone else's pumpkins are ripening, but because we're in a shady area, we're doing just fine. So even our watermelon's doing okay. There's some more in here. We counted a few. Oh, there's one in there. Oh, right in the dark, you can't really see them. Pumpkin hunting. They're good size already. And there's a bunch of acorn squash in there, and I'm even going to try to find them now. I'll save you that goose chase for later. Our yard made it out scot-free. We had a couple little twigs down back there, but everything's good. And our big poplars, those are ones that initially were going to come out a few years ago when we started our site, and my parents actually got me some time ago this really good book. It's a red hardcover book. I think it's called Trees in Canada or Trees of Canada. It's kind of thick, like an encyclopedia volume, but it really covers and breaks down a lot of the different subspecies. And it actually turns out this is a certain type of poplar, and which is apparently quite resilient. And as you can tell, it didn't really suffer any loss at all. Oh, farm girl. Fetch me some water, farm girl.
Done.
Haha.
Got it all filled up. Ready to go back on the stove.
Love it. You can see we got a bunch of lumber and windows and whatnot kicking around there. That's all going into our shop. But first I got to learn how to make wooden window frames and sashes, because I've never done that before. So, and trying to be the thrifty ones that we are,
Yes.
we have to see what we can do without just going out and buying premium vertical grain fir at, what, $5 a board foot these days. So, don't you just look smashing? Wish I could get you to focus better. I have to go to manual focus. That's better. Look at that. Tiny house. Tiny bride. Life's good. Yeah, we had a good idea. Just stand on top of the roof of our shop here. Take a look, see. It's interesting, a lot of the smaller birds didn't survive. It's almost like what you see with an ice storm when they all lean over. Which I would have thought they would have just sprung back up, but I think enough of them just uprooted, there wasn't anything left. There's the other end of our firewood pile in there. So it does still exist. But we got a few trees that are left. I think some of them, I think that cluster back there that I was showing you earlier, that I think maybe there's some sort of I don't think they're that Manitoba maple at all. Now I got a better look, they're definitely some sort of a willow or something, but there's not much left on them. I think they're going to be gone, but we got a few alders here. Our cedars, our firs, those are still doing good, so we can't complain. Got sirens going on in the background. Somebody somewhere. Hope all is well up there again. Looks like they're setting up over at our neighbor's place. Either that or they're going to be turning around because the road's not open yet. We came through over there right before the height of the storm. We were trying to get home. We couldn't actually find a road open to get home. And we came through the big hill up there. And there were 3 trees across the road and 3 sets of down lines within a quarter mile or so. And we were able to squeak through and by and under each time with our truck, but we've heard a couple times the emergency personnel, they've gotten only so far and then had to turn around.